Interesting. Airbus hasn't entirely dismissed the possibility of resuming production of the A380 double-decker. This news comes from the head of Airbus's civil aircraft division via the publication Hamburger Abendblatt. Nevertheless, the chances of this happening are low, very low. But in this video, let's look at the recent statements, as well as the cases for and against reviving A380 production. The Airbus A380 Quadjet is an engineering marvel and an aircraft adored by passengers despite all of its challenges. The A380 conducted its maiden flight in April 2005 and achieved certification in December 2006. The aircraft type racked up orders for 251 airframes and had a significant impact on the aviation industry. Sadly, for A380 fans, Airbus announced in 2019 that it would end the production of the Super Jumbo. It took some time to work through the backlog, but production has now ended, with the last aircraft being delivered to Emirates in December 2021. During the COVID-19 pandemic, numerous retirements and operational challenges led to the belief that the Airbus A380 would not return. However, as passenger traffic rebounded post-pandemic, some airlines indicated a demand for higher capacity aircraft. Indeed, Lufthansa and Etihad Airways have reintroduced their Airbus A380 wide-body aircraft despite expressing uncertainty in the early months of the pandemic. Emirates, the largest operator of the type, has been the A380's biggest fan in terms of airlines. Indeed, the Dubai carrier has consistently held out hope for a potential new addition, what some might call the Airbus A380neo. And so, when discussing the possibility of restarting production of the world's largest passenger aircraft with German daily newspaper Hamburger Abendblatt, Christian Scherer stated that, "The door is closed, but it's not locked. In industry, nothing is ever ruled out." Scherer pointed out that the market is currently strongly oriented towards twin-engine jets. Therefore, he views the chances of a comeback for the four-engine Airbus A380 aircraft as extremely slim. There are a few things we can say about this statement. First, in case anyone was wondering, the publication Hamburger Abendblatt is focused on the German city of Hamburg, or Hamburg, and has no connection to hamburgers as food. But getting back to the matter at hand, the Airbus executives' comments tend to generate buzz and exciting headlines about the A380. But really, they don't state much more than what is obvious. The industry has shown that twin-engine aircraft can operate safely and reliably across great distances while being built large enough to handle high volumes of passengers. It would thus take a significant spike in travel demand for the market to want new A380s in the future. As it stands, the A380 facility in Toulouse has since been converted into an A320neo family final assembly line. Perhaps some A380 tooling and manufacturing equipment has been stored away, but it would indeed take a miracle for Airbus to justify a revival of A380 production and all the operational changes that are required to support it. There were certain issues as to why the European aircraft manufacturer ended A380 production. The key issues with the Airbus A380 for airlines included its excessive capacity, limited route suitability, and heavy weight requiring high fuel consumption. Indicative of its niche role and lack of broad popularity, the jet had and continues to have a hard time finding a second-hand market. Flag carriers prefer new planes and become apprehensive about aircraft over 10 years old. But okay, let's say that air travel really spikes in the coming years and an A380-sized aircraft is seen as the best way to handle passenger volumes at slot-constrained airports. Well, if this is the case, and Airbus thinks that the A380 would find more customers, then it's still not likely that we would see the A380 produced again in its current form. Indeed, we would hope to see a long list of improvements given the 20-plus years of technological improvements since the initial design of the Super Jumbo. On top of this, you would think that Airbus would aim to design a new A380 to operate with two much more powerful engines rather than four. This would reduce a substantial amount of weight and make it more efficient. On the inside, we would expect Airbus to implement its NPS or New Production Standards on a revised A380. Just as it has done with newer A350s, the plane maker would introduce slightly thinner and differently contoured sidewalls to create more space for airlines and their passengers. But then, at the same time, for many of these technological improvements to be implemented, Airbus would require much more time to perform testing and go through the certification process all over again, something it wouldn't have to do if it were once again building the already certified A380. Thus, it truly is hard to see exactly how Airbus would resume A380 production while offering a competitive product. Presently, a total of 145 Airbus A380s are active across 10 airlines as per CH Aviation data. We know that Emirates wouldn't mind having an updated Super Jumbo as it's already been quite vocal about such an idea. But would anyone else want the same? It could be a good idea for British Airways if Heathrow remains constrained by 2 runways and limited slot availability. However, at this point it's quite clear that carriers have moved on with their future fleet plans. Of course, if all goes well, new and upcoming UK-based carrier Global Airlines could add new A380s to its fleet in the future. The airline currently has plans to revolutionise air travel with its fleet exclusively composed of second-hand Airbus A380s. This move signifies a vote of confidence in the value of pre-owned A380s. Nonetheless, the airline is yet to get off the ground and commence passenger operations. Indeed, Global originally intended to commence its A380 flights in either the spring or summer of 2024. However, the airline has now rescheduled its inaugural flight for 2025. To wrap up this video, it feels like at this point a resumption of A380 production is not only closed, but it's also locked for a variety of reasons. At this point, Airbus might be better off launching a larger A350 variant, an A350-2000, if you will. Of course, it seems like this idea is also dead, or at least dormant for now. As noted by Air Insight some 7 years ago, then Chief Commercial Officer John Leahy said that Airbus was considering a stretched A350, internally called the A350-2000. Leahy was quoted as saying, "There is no -2000 study ongoing at the moment. That was done in the past in very specific conditions, but we believe that the -1000 is the right size to make sure that airlines operating the -900 can grow upwards and replace the 777s. Fast forward to 2023, and the head of the Airbus widebody program told Air Insight that the -1000 was large enough, saying, "When you look at the replacement of the 777-300ERs, which is ahead of us, the -1000 is a perfect size, with more range and better efficiency. So this is the natural platform. This is where we see the market in the next 3 years." But what do you think? Could, or more importantly, should Airbus resume A380 production? If not, do you think it'll ever offer a jet larger than the A350-1000? Share your thoughts by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.